Boy, where you been? It's TeeJay the Artist. You rockin' with me. You are the smartest, and we back with another video, man. We got one sports analyst versus 25 NBA NFL fans featuring Skip Bayless. So this is gonna be a Skip Bayless video. I ain't heard from Skip since Undisputed stopped. We gonna see what this man got to say. We gonna see if these 25 fans can say anything that can help, or I guess anything that can like beat Skip Bayless. We gonna see. We gonna get right into it, man. Let's do it. Could you turn me up in the headphones a little bit?
Mahomes went 7-4-7. What do you think of that one, Skip? Tell me, come on, buddy.
I think
7-4-7
of Stephen Curry, and I'm going to point out one.
Wait, what he said?
Mahomes went 7-4-7. What do you think of that one, Skip? Tell me, come on, buddy.
I think we're going to go in the direction of Stephen Curry, and I'm going to point out one word.
Steph Curry?
He was throwing balls to his receivers, hitting them in the helmets and stuff like that, and they weren't catching the ball.
It was 31-9. I'm Skip Bayless.
All right.
I've been a sports commentator for many years on ESPN and on Fox. Now I host the Skip Bayless Show on YouTube. Right now, I am
Y'all watching the Skip Bayless show? Y'all watching the Skip Bayless show? Are y'all watching the Skip Bayless show? I'm not watching the Skip Bayless show. I tried. I ain't gonna lie. In the beginning, when he first started it, I tried because I thought like maybe Skip just putting on a show, you know, for Undisputed. Nah, he's the exact same person, bro. Everything you think that he be saying on TV, he's saying the same things, bro. He really feel like that. I thought he was trolling. He really feel like that.
surrounded by 20 NBA and NFL super fans, and I wish each and every one of you the best of luck today because you're going to need it.
Uh-oh.
My first claim is Magic Johnson is the greatest Laker of all time.
Well, first off, I think Magic Johnson actually said that Kobe was the greatest Laker of all time. So for you to say Magic Johnson is the greatest Laker of all time, and he said Kobe, it's got to be Kobe, right? Let's see what they got to say. Anybody pulling up? Oh, dang. They ran up there. I ain't know it was like that.
I know you think Magic is the greatest Laker of all time.
I do.
Skip, I think it's Kobe. I think the game is about a bucket at the end of the day. I think the priority is scoring the basketball. Kobe did that better than Magic. I think both of them were very, very transformative in what they did for the Laker franchise and the NBA in general. And I would give it to
You
Kobe.
look foolish.
To Kobe.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Bro, I wish I could be a super fan like that. I ain't gonna lie. I say he looked foolish, but I actually feel like I wish I could be a super fan like that. He looks stupid. But in the right setting, he look cool, don't he? Right now, you sitting up here trying to debate, but you look like this. Now, if he was at a football game, nobody would care. But you look crazy. And why is the camera on him for so long?
Well,
Watch this.
Kobe
This
did
is
that
too
better
long.
than
Watch
Magic.
this.
I think both of them were very, very transformative in what they did for the Laker franchise and the NBA
One,
in general.
two,
and I would give
three,
it to Kobe.
four,
to Kobe,
five,
excuse me.
six.
Because
Why was he on the camera for 6 seconds? Get out of here, bro.
Prowess, and also, of course, how transformative he was and how many players he inspired.
Okay.
I take nothing away from Kobe's ability to
Better not.
score buckets, get buckets, because nobody was greater in the history of the game. Magic did transform the franchise because remember, Kareem had been a Laker for 4 years doing next to nothing until Magic walks in
The disrespect to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Didn't know that I was going to be talking about that right now. Goodness gracious, Skip.
door in 1980 and turns them around and gets them all the way to a Game 6 at Philadelphia in the finals, in which Kareem could not go. And I believe Magic Johnson that day at Philadelphia that evening played the greatest NBA game of all time, greatest playoff game, because he goes as a rookie.
That's a lie. There's a lot of people with 60. There's Jordan with 60. Yeah, he also got 55. There's Giannis with a 50-point finals. But I guess if you breaking it down to Lakers only, then Kobe has to have a crazy game in the playoffs, bro. Come on, man.
For 42, 15, and 7 with 3 steals. He makes 14 of 23 shots and all 14 of his free throws and lifts the Lakers over Dr. J's Sixers to a championship, and he's off to the races. Now let's look quickly at Kobe.
This is the debate stuff. He's about to knock Kobe head off with all of Kobe's bad stats. See, he just gave his best game. They just gave Magic Johnson best game. If Skip Bayless gives Kobe's best game right now, I would be surprised.
Again, no disrespect, but I feel like
if any nigga say that, if any nigga say no disrespect, he about to disrespect the hell out you. Come on, man.
Over Dr. J. Sixers to a championship, and he's off to the races.
Here we go.
Now let's look quickly at Kobe. Again, no disrespect, but I feel like Kobe was obviously Robin to Batman in the three-peat with Shaq, because Shaq dominated those three finals the way no players ever dominated an NBA finals to me, including Jordan. That's why I think Shaq is the second greatest Laker of all time. And
he even got Shaq over Kobe as the greatest Laker? Didn't I tell y'all that as soon as you say no disrespect, what's coming next? Because another Laker, Shaq, also says that Kobe is the greatest Laker.
In those finals, Kobe was good, but he wasn't close to the production that Shaq was equaling. So then Shaq, they fall apart. They lose to the Pistons, obviously, 2004, and he's gone, traded away to Miami. And here we go. So Kobe, without Shaq, misses the playoffs the first year.
I told you. He's going to say Magic Johnson's best game, but he ain't going to compare it to Kobe's best game. He just breaking down all of the bad parts. Because right now he finna go down the list of he missed this, he missed that, he missed this. No, just do best game versus best game. Why not do best game versus best game? That's crazy.
Here. Then they lose to the Suns in the first round, and he has the pout game in Game 7, and it was hard for me to forgive him for that. And then they lose to the Suns in the first round.
What that mean? They got a red flag down here. Y'all can't see because I'm in the way. Hold on. I'll put myself over here. Myself over here. What that mean? I ain't. I'm not used to this.
They lose to Boston in the finals.
One red flag. 1 out of 20.
Game 6. Kobe is horrible in that game, and they lose by 39 points at Boston. I can't defend.
Oh,
that.
It means somebody raising the flag.
Howard's Magic. It was supposed
does
to
that
be
mean?
LeBron's
Does that mean that like he don't like what he just said? Because I ain't like nothing. My red flag would have been up.
And it was hard for me to forgive him for that. And then they lose to the Suns in the first round the next year. And then they lose to Boston in the finals. In the closeout Game 6, Kobe is horrible in that game, and they lose by 39 points at Boston. I can't defend that. They broke through and beat Dwight Howard's Magic. It was supposed to be LeBron's Cavs. So I thought that was a little overrated. And then even when they did beat Boston and get over the hump, in Game 7, Kobe was 6 of 24 in that game. So I don't know.
Two flags.
Your big picture, but when I go little picture of playoff performance without
3
Shaq,
flags.
I'm sorry.
Bruh, I told you he was not going. He wasn't going to do best game versus best game. That's crazy.
I totally understand what you're saying, and I think Magic was extraordinary. And to be a rookie and start at center in the finals as a point guard, I mean, we've never seen that before. I don't know if we ever will. And yeah, he was terrific. He was splendid. He won his championships.
Let's see what he got to
Kobe
say.
Got his. And I understand you picking out these individual games and years and teammates and everything. And I think, you can really do that with anyone. And I think it's important to look at the big picture.
Kobe's
because
mystique was bigger than Magic's, but if you...
And there you have it. Then Kobe the greatest Laker. Mystique was bigger.
If you look at Magic's productivity, how he changed a culture that both Shaq and Kobe benefited from piggybacking that culture, I'm going slightly Magic over
11.
Shaq.
What does this mean?
Good job,
Thank
Jack.
you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Way to go.
They got a ring. First of all, y'all over here ain't never gonna have a chance to get over here. Y'all not running. Y'all ain't gonna be able to get over here fast enough. They right here. This racing part is stupid. Just get in the line and like I'm next. Like, come on, man. Let's see what he got to say though.
So,
Joe.
Kobe Bryant, 20 years with the same team, 18 All-Stars, 15 All-NBA, 12 All-Defense, MVP, 2 Finals MVPs, 5 championships. And even though he's done all of that, I think what makes him the greatest Laker of all time, it's different than what makes a player the greatest player of all time. Because like LeBron's not the greatest Heat player of all time, that's Dwayne Wade. So it's not just are you better, like are you greater? It's what you've done for that city and that franchise. And I would argue it, I love Magic. I grew up on Magic. But when you watch...
It feels like you grew up more on Kobe.
I'm older than I look, honestly. But Magic, when you saw him on the court, he was like the greatest showman, right? He's a performer, charisma, a smile, the flashiness, showtime, right? Kobe, when you saw him on the court, it was like watching your brother, you know, your sibling or your uncle or something, your son, because he had this fully realized character arc. He was a rookie, he failed, you know, I mean, not drafted by the Lakers, but we got him, you know, early. And the air balls, you know, and then the rising to prominence, 2000.
He was just 18 years old, but go ahead.
Yeah. But 2000, taking over in the finals after Shaq got hurt, after Jalen Rose shadily sprained his ankle, and then he came back, and then, you know, he got him back with the 81 later. And then the championships, and then there was another, he went through kind of a villain arc.
He did.
You know, there was like Colorado.
Yeah.
There was Colorado.
All the down years.
Good.
And
Like it.
if you're a
Kobe,
fan, you're with...
Kobe went into like dark mode. I ain't gonna lie. He went into like this. I guess that's that mamba that everybody was talking about. It did feel like Kobe was just on some like, bro, I don't care who you is. I know our team ain't what it is, but I'm still Kobe. And I'm finna show you a little something. He used to go stupid.
Kobe's with you that whole time, and I actually didn't like Kobe early on. I was mad when they started playing him over Eddie Jones, like early days.
I didn't like Kobe because my favorite player is Allen Iverson, and he beat them. And my favorite team is the Orlando Magic, and he also beat them in the finals. So that's why I ain't like Kobe. I respected him, but that's why I ain't like Kobe. So I was a part of the, man, he be ball hogging. That was me. But then I started understanding it more as I got older, and I was like, yeah, I see why he would do stuff like that. But that's my villain arc versus Kobe.
And you went through all of that, and Kobe just won you over. That's why there are more than 350 murals of Kobe in LA.
Okay, so you're making the case that Kobe is dearer to your heart than Magic was. He has a bigger place in your heart. And I'm making the case that Magic had greater impact consistently than Kobe had, because Magic was the driving force of the Showtime Lakers, and Kobe was not the driving force of the three-peat, right?
Sure. Well, let me address that real quick. Because you're going to the finals and you're talking about Shaq, but that's always with the team from the East, and the East had notoriously bad big men. Everyone knows in those years, the finals was the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in those series, Kobe was instrumental. You know, in 2002, Kobe and Shaq basically throughout the whole playoffs had equivalent points. Yeah, the same amount of points. And Shaq himself has admitted on, you know, various podcasts and different things, he was never the guy to take the last shot. I know you value that, right? Jordan's your guy. Kobe is the closest thing that we've ever seen to Jordan.
Yep.
And he was a guy who never shied away from the moment. He was a guy who always made the most of his opportunity when it was there.
I give you that.
And I don't think he gets enough credit for the second run that he made with Powell.
With Powell, that back-to-back.
I mean, that's not an all-time team.
No,
it's not.
But his breakthrough was not against an all-time team, because remember, the Magic upset LeBron's Cavaliers to get to the finals.
This is not even a LeBron topic right now. He just has to do it. This ain't even a LeBron topic right now. He just got to do it, bro. Just has to.
Right?
I mean, I give you that, but you can only play the team.
Thank you, red flag. Two of them. My flag up too.
He's the one who did. They had the Nike commercials. But
true.
LeBron didn't hold up his end.
He didn't hold up his end in the bargain.
I mean,
okay, so you're okay with Kobe pouting in a Game 7 at Phoenix against Raja Bell?
I'm not okay with it, but I mean, are you okay with '84, Tragic Johnson, where, you know,
that's how you get them. You want to nitpick? We can nitpick too. There you go. Come on.
Throws the turnover.
Get him right.
He
Everyone's
did, but
got
he bounced
failures.
right back the next year in '85, and he shoots a baby hook shot.
Kobe bounced back the next year by going to the finals.
Okay, he did. Yeah. After you mean after the pout?
After the pout, yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I don't. That's what, to me, those failures you're pointing at. Every player has failures, except for maybe who's your GOAT. But
Jordan has failures too. Let's not do that. Jordan has failures too. Come on, man. Come on. Let's not do that. Jordan has failures too. Come on.
every player has that. Magic has that. Kobe has that. I think in terms of LA and LA.
Okay, but if you look at Shaq's numbers in those three finals, and I give you that the big men, the Tim Duncans, were over on the other side of the bracket, right? But he goes 38, 17, and 2 in their first finals. 33, 16, and 5, and 36, 12, and 4. Look at the assists. He's averaging 5 assists a game in the NBA Finals. Listen, those 3 years, and I've been doing this a long time. I was actually covering the Kareem Lakers pre-Magic.
Why is this camera on here for so long? Get the camera off this man? Why is the camera on this man for so long?
He goes 38, 17, and 2 in their first finals. 33, 16, and 5, and 36, 12, and 4. Look at the assists. He's averaging 5 assists a game in the NBA Finals. Listen, those 3 years, and I've been doing this a long time. I was actually covering the Kareem
why is the
Lakers
camera on here?
Magic out here in LA.
I'm about to get voted out real quick.
Okay.
real quick.
So if enough people vote, then they got to stop talking. Because they hit 11 and Buddy got up. So if there's 8 out of 20. So if more people put their flags up, then they got to get out the goddamn chair.
Were any of those finals really competitive? Pacers, Sixers, and Nets. No, they weren't competitive. They dominated those teams.
Because
So Shaq,
you had the greatest offensive force I've ever seen, including Jordan, where he was unrefereeable
Shaq was crazy
at that point because I never knew whether it's offense or defense, on the foul.
I think Kobe could easily have had better numbers. He didn't have to. Shaq, those teams were not equipped to play against the Lakers.
There was a game where Shaq fouled out and Kobe had to take over. There was a game. I think it was versus the Pacers. Shaq fouled out and Kobe took the reins and just went ahead and won the game. So let's not act like, they was just they was like a power couple, bro. Like they was one of the best duos ever, bro.
Credit Allen Iverson for getting the one game
He
in
got it.
2001.
He was big.
Shout
That
out
was the
AI.
greatest achievement of his career. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
Uh-oh. Run to the table. Run to the chair. See what I'm saying? Can't nobody get that from over there on the other side, bro. How is you gonna be able to do this? You ain't gonna be able to do that. He all the way on the other side of the table. Like, all these people on this side is not gonna be able to get to this chair faster than them on this side, bro. Like, that's not happening, bro.
There you go. Okay, you're getting close.
You're not gonna get that.
I will.
How you doing?
Nice to see you.
All right.
Yep. So how is Magic the greatest Laker of all time when he wasn't even the greatest Laker on this team? That's Kareem.
He coming in hot. He saying Kareem is the better Laker from that team. He came in hot. All right.
Kareem was first all time in Lakers points, first in rebounds, first in blocks, first in field goals made.
Get him, black man.
And he had an unstoppable move in the sky hook. Has one more championship because he has 6, Magic has 5, and he has 3 more MVPs.
Okay.
We haven't even got to Kobe yet.
We haven't. All right, let's look hard at Kareem's career. So he wins his first ring in Milwaukee, helped by Oscar Robertson kind of at the end of his career. So that's 1971. Then he goes 4 more years in Milwaukee and nothing really. They were pretty good, but they weren't great.
Okay.
Then he comes to LA in 76 is his first year with the Lakers. And again, there's no Magic yet, obviously.
Right.
And they miss the playoffs the first year. The second year, they get swept by Portland in the conference finals. The third year of Kareem, no Magic. They lose in the first round to Seattle. And the fourth year, Kareem, no Magic, they lose in the conference semifinals to Seattle. So they're floundering with Kareem because he was a follower and not a leader.
Oh, Lord.
I give you every point you made about
Okay, you gonna disrespect that man like that?
points and about rebounds and about
Somebody put a
blocks and
red
about
flag up. Get him out of here.
hooks and
Exactly.
all
Stop
that
this.
is sensational, but there's a missing ingredient called leadership, charisma, whatever that greatest intangible is that Magic had greater than anybody
Child, the
beside
stepper.
Jordan.
Yeah, no,
So-
I
Oh, that's
give you
Zip.
that. I give you
Child,
that. for
that's
sure.
Zip.
The thing about
What
it
a
is, we were
follow,
talking
man.
about in 1980, right, when Magic won Rookie of the Year. Would he have won Rookie of the Year if he would have, would he have won Rookie of the Year?
Without Kareem,
Without
you mean?
Kareem, Kareem was averaging 33 points that series.
Well, I would like to
before
think he
before
would
he
have.
got injured in
He could
Game
have gone
6.
to Utah or wherever he would have gone. I just think he would have been Rookie of the Year. But
Right.
he was the perfect fit at the perfect moment
Right.
for this team, and it became a super team,
okay,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, it was Showtime, and they had big game
One
James,
flag up.
obviously, and they had Byron, and they had Michael Cooper guarding the way nobody could guard on the perimeter. I give you all that,
Exactly.
but it gelled around the new son, S-U-N, who was Magic, right?
Right.
And he lifted them into what was 9 finals, okay?
Yep.
And he is the driving force. Kareem wasn't. Kareem was really more of a Robin, but you can make a case he was the greatest Robin of all time.
Right.
Okay.
I give you all your numbers because clearly it took LeBron playing now 22
Yeah,
years, but it took
exactly.
21 years to break Kareem's record.
And that's the point that I was making is that at the end of the day, like, unless Kareem just got unlucky because the best player of all time, LeBron James, took that scoring title from him, but he would have been able to keep that for his whole life. And then
He
if we
would
go
have.
to Kobe, right?
Right.
For example, if I was to take your papers right there, ball them up in a trash can and shoot it, whose name would we say? We wouldn't
Kobe.
say Magic.
No.
Who we saying? We saying Kobe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. And when we talk about like keeping that mentality, how you go through life, how you focus on what you need to do in life, nobody says, keep that magic. They say keep that Mamba mentality.
Okay.
That's what
He on your ass right now, Skip.
it's all about.
But you grew up in the Mamba mentality era, am I right?
Look at all them flags.
That's why I started off with Kareem first.
Okay, all right, you do, and I give you that.
Yeah.
But Magic Johnson was the greatest NBA leader ever, beyond Bill Russell, beyond Michael Jordan, beyond we got Brady over on the other side in the National Football League, so that's another argument. But on just NBA leadership,
Right.
Magic on charisma, on winning time, as he
Yeah.
called it winning time, and
But-
in my generation, winning time was more important than because we didn't know Mamba mentality yet,
Right,
right?
I got
I
you.
want winning time.
I
want
Kobe,
magic time.
Kobe had the same type of leadership style as far as like Kobe
did.
had aura. Like,
He did.
job's not finished, like all of those things, but also he showed it in actions first. You know what I mean?
He did.
Wasn't really
I
about the
think-
partying or going out. He was so dedicated
I
to the
think
craft.
Kobe was a Jordan-esque leader, and he modeled every bit of his action, his very body language after Michael Jordan, and he led like Jordan did, and it wasn't a pretty sight because he could be a real, just a tough leader, like he gave nobody any slack at all. He pushed, he pulled, he cursed, he did it the way Jordan did it.
I
And it
agree.
was scary. It was like an intimidation, leadership by intimidation. Magic did it with a smile, but Magic, listen, I got to know him in his rookie year. He was as tough as they came. You wouldn't want to mess with him.
I agree with you. I mean, leadership comes in all different forms,
Yeah.
right? You never know how somebody's going to choose to lead.
They having a good
But,
conversation.
Kobe led in plenty of ways, and also all of the players that picked up a basketball because of his presence. We wouldn't have Devin Booker without Kobe. Jason Tatum is
I'm with
doing
you,
what he does.
but
So,
I'm
yeah.
looking at the first 4 years with no Shaq, and Kobe really struggled by himself because he
Okay, let's not do the first 4 years without Shaq thing, bro. Come on, man.
he couldn't figure out yet how to lead because he was a solo act of solo acts. Of
course.
And so it took Jordan a while to figure out, hey, you actually need those 4 other guys along with 8, 9 other guys to get this done. And with Phil's help, he finally figured that out when they broke through. But even after the pout game in Game 7, if I look at Kobe winning the championship, getting even with the Boston Celtics in that Game 7, he shoots 6 of 24 in a Game 7. Well, that's not Mamba mentality. And I didn't
Yes, it is. Mama mentality is keep going and keep shooting, and that's what Kobe was doing. What do you mean?
love that. It's like, remember, Ron Artest, Meta World Peace, hit the shot of shots in that game with a minute left. He hits a big 3 that gave them the cushion.
I'm a Celtics fan. I watched that. It broke my heart.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Thank you, Skip.
Way to go. Good job.
All right, see, here come this race thing. How you gonna get from over there?
I think that Magic Johnson is one of the greatest Lakers of all time, but because he had a shortened career, unfortunately.
He did. It was still 12 years, but it should have been 20
12 years, but not 20 like Kareem, like Kobe, like LeBron. But I'm going to go a little off path here.
Okay.
I'm going to argue that the logo was the greatest Laker.
Oh, he choosing Jerry West. Okay, this is different. Okay, he's choosing a different angle right
He
now.
only won one.
Logo.
But he had to play against the greatest dynasty in the history of the sport. He had to play against the greatest leader in the history of the sport, I think, Bill Russell. Who would make, like Magic, everybody around him better. Also, he scouted for the Lakers afterwards.
He did.
He coached the Lakers during the time that you're talking about Kareem getting there.
Not well, but he coached.
They actually did okay. They actually did okay. They
And
didn't
good
have
points.
a great team, but they did. Like, I think they got the Western Conference Finals at least once. And then he stepped aside, and when Buss wanted to hire Riley, because Magic pushed Westhead, right?
Out, yep.
Buss tried to make them co-coaches, and
Okay, this guy knows a lot of, like, he knows some Laker stuff. Cause he went deep down in there, and I'm hearing stuff that I ain't never heard before. I ain't never heard none of this before.
Riley and West right afterwards said, that's not the case. It's Riley's team.
Right. He wanted no part of that.
And he's a badass, like, in that way. And he put together Showtime. He put together Shaq and Kobe. He helped Memphis have a team at all.
Okay,
he
but
helped
we're
put together.
not talking about post-career. We're talking about playing career, because Jerry
talking about
West, to me, is the greatest GM ever in the history of the NBA. And by the way, Michael Jordan was the worst GM in the history of the NBA.
Not the worst.
That is
Just for
true.
Objectivity here. But to your point, okay, so Jerry West and the Lakers get to 9 finals, and he loses 8 times, and a lot of it had to do with that guy, Bill Russell.
To the greatest team ever.
But if I swap out, if I put Magic in place of the logo on those teams, Magic was the greatest winner this side of Michael Jordan that I ever closely observed and got to know. So if you put him in on those Jerry West teams with Wilt and with Elgin and with Gail Goodrich, that he puts them over the top because of his dynamic charisma and leadership. It was unequaled. I've never seen anything like it.
Jerry's
It was the-
leadership, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but Jerry's
it was quiet leadership. It was, but it
But he
wasn't.
had Elgin,
Yeah, he did.
who was charismatic, who
Yeah.
was like Michael Jordan
No,
before Michael
I got
Jordan.
it, but man.
and West won the MVP of the finals, only person
in
I
a
think,
losing cause.
on a losing cause.
Yeah.
That's how
But
great he was.
He goes 1 and
He's
8
the
in the
logo
finals
of the NBA.
I thought it was 1 and
you
9.
can't say that's better than Magic's winning time Showtime.
Also, to be the greatest Laker ever doesn't mean you're the greatest Laker player ever necessarily. It
Yeah,
means
I
you're the
understand
greatest.
that.
So he's the only one that was great as a player,
And
great as
great
a scout.
post.
I think good as a coach, great as a GM,
Great.
as an advisor, great as a logo for the entire NBA the whole time. He didn't ever do anything wrong.
Okay,
and he played
but
long.
if you put Jerry West on the Showtime teams, do you think they're Showtime? Because they're
Yeah.
not, because he didn't play with any.
Kurt Rambis was on the Showtime team.
Well, he was. He was like a sixth man or badass enforcer.
Jerry
Yeah.
West would have been fine. He would have been like Byron Scott or better, right?
Yeah, but again, if you didn't have Magic Johnson on those teams, you don't have Showtime. There's no more Showtime.
You don't have Showtime.
And Jerry West was as pretty a jump shooter as I've ever seen. It was just beautiful form, and it was mesmerizing, but it wasn't captivating, right? It wasn't Magic Johnson. I couldn't take my eyes off Magic because he had the big smile. He had the greatest smile in the history of the game.
Yes.
And it was contagious on his team. He lifted his entire team with his own charisma.
He did, like Russell, like Russell did in his own way. But I didn't realize that compellingness was part of what made somebody the greatest Laker ever. I thought it was like scoring.
Well, leadership. And
Leadership.
I don't think Jerry was a great leader.
Really?
I think he was more of a solo act. He stayed to
See,
himself.
I don't know what to say right now because they talking about old stuff. So him arguing for Jerry West, I'm just gonna shut the hell up because I don't know what the hell I'm looking at.
He was a quiet leader, but not dynamic.
He helped
not
manage-
a powerful voice in the locker room kind of leader.
He helped manage Wilt.
I guess, for a little while. And they got a championship. They got one championship
for the
out
best
of it.
Laker
Yeah.
team ever, arguably.
Yeah, you could certainly make a case for that.
All right, get on up out of here.
All right, good job. Way to go.
I think Kobe the best
Next
Laker of all
claim
time.
is Michael Jordan is the GOAT and laughably.
We go. Here it goes. Here we go. Oh, man. Get ready. Y'all might as well stretch for this one, boy. He finna. Oh, Lord. Michael Jordan is a GOAT. Laughably better than LeBron. This is crazy. Here we go.
Better than LeBron James.
Here we go. Run to that. Y'all better run. Everybody want to get
How
up.
are you, sir?
Good, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan of your career, everything you stand for in this industry, but this awful take, I'm not going to let it seep through.
Okay.
So, Michael Jordan, there are two angles to looking at the GOAT debate. Number one, could Michael Jordan have done what LeBron is doing in this era, and vice versa? The other angle is there any single thing that Michael Jordan has done over the course of an entire career better than LeBron James? So I'm asking you, is there one thing that you could definitively say that Michael Jordan did better than LeBron James over the course of his entire NBA career?
Yeah, he won better. He just won and won and won. He was invincible and unbeatable, and he went 6-0 in the finals.
That's his angle.
With 6 MVPs, and no, they didn't play the toughest competition in the finals.
You recognize that, Skip?
But the beasts were in the East, and he devoured and slayed the beasts one after another.
Not all of them. Not that boy in green. Not that white boy in green.
Bird Celtics, then the bad boy Pistons.
It wasn't the Bird Celtics.
And then Reggie Miller's Pacers.
You gonna sit up there and lie?
And when you go 6-0 with 6 MVPs in the finals versus
So ain't nobody gonna say that he just lied.
4 and 6 in the finals for LeBron, and Ray Allen saved LeBron.
Oh, he going in.
A loss there because LeBron had completely self-destructed in Game 6 of that 2013 finals. And then if Kyrie, when nobody can buy a shot, if Kyrie hadn't hit the shot of shots in Game 7 at Oracle, LeBron could be 2-8 in the finals. So we're talking.
All right, fan, you gotta pull up. He opened up Pandora's box. He said Ray Allen saved him. He said Kyrie saved him. Are we gonna say that Steve Kerr saved Jordan? Are we gonna say that John Paxson's? Are we gonna bring up? Come on, fan. What you got to say, bro?
Talking about winning. I say it all the time. LeBron is still, to this moment, the best passer in basketball. I say it all the time. LeBron is still the greatest driver of the basketball I ever saw, to a fault, because he's a poor jump shooter, a poor three-point shooter by star standards, or certainly by superstar standards. And he's a poor free throw shooter by superstar standards. He should have 5,000 more points, but he's such a worse.
What I've noticed is when you talk about the GOAT debate in basketball, they don't ever talk about the actual person that they say is the GOAT. He mentioned 6-0 in the finals, 6 MVPs, and then he jumped on LeBron case. LeBron ain't do this, LeBron ain't do that, LeBron ain't do this, LeBron ain't do that. That's what we hearing right now. He stuck with Michael Jordan for a little bit and then jumped straight to LeBron and everything he hate about him, bro. Like, what's up?
Shooter than Jordan ever was as a jump shooter and a free throw shooter, that it's hard for me to say, how can you call LeBron the GOAT when he's a lousy shooter?
Part of the argument to what you said is everything you just said is wrong. So if you look at true shooting percentage, which takes into account all the offense, all the scoring, who had the better true shooting percentage in his NBA career in the regular season? LeBron James. Who had the better true shooting percentage in the playoffs? LeBron James. And you just said Michael Jordan won a lot better. So starting 1-9 in the playoffs in his career doesn't count, just doesn't matter.
Okay.
Or
That is true. Everybody act like every time he played, he went straight to the finals, and it just doesn't. It only start counting when it gets to the finals. It feel like if you lose in the first round, second round, third round, that don't matter. But as soon as you get to the finals, that's when it matters the most. So when you lose in the first round, nobody cares. You lose in the second round, nobody cares. You lose in the Eastern Conference, Western Conference Finals, nobody cares. That's how this been going. Like, and I dislike that.
Losing to the Pistons over and over again because he was so dominated by any level of physicality because he was soft. So that does not count. That doesn't matter.
Wait, did you just call Michael Jordan soft?
Compared to LeBron James?
He was the baddest you-know-what who ever stepped on a basketball court.
Not
Trust
like
me,
LeBron.
I was there. Not like LeBron?
Not like LeBron.
He just called Jordan soft. He just called Jordan soft. I ain't never heard nobody call Jordan soft. He said that the Pistons. Hold on.
In the playoffs, LeBron James.
Make sure I hear this again.
And you just said Michael Jordan won a lot better. So starting 1-9 in the playoffs in his career doesn't count, just doesn't matter. Okay. Or losing to the Pistons over and over again because he was so dominated by any level of physicality because he was soft. So
he said it. Oh my God.
That does not count. That doesn't matter.
Wait, did you just call Michael Jordan soft?
Compared to LeBron James?
He was the baddest you-know-what who ever stepped on a basketball court.
Not
Trust
like
me,
LeBron.
I was there.
Oh my God.
LeBron?
Not like LeBron.
LeBron is like the nicest guy ever. He's soft. He's a deep.
We're gonna finish this. We're gonna finish this topic, and we're gonna come back to this at another time. I gotta go cook for my wife, but right now let's finish this up, and then I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Hey, wifey, and she waiting for me. You feel me? So let's go.
And can I start down the litany of epic fails that LeBron had that Jordan never had? Yeah, it took a while to break through against Larry Bird's Celtics, but
he never did.
Remember that Michael Jordan had missed the whole year. He played 3 games and broke his foot. This is his second year in the league. And he comes back just for the playoffs and goes up against arguably the 86 Celtics were you could make a case they were the greatest team ever. And what does he do? He scores 49 in game 1, and in game 2, he scores 63. It took double overtime, but after that game, Larry Bird said that was God disguised as Michael Jordan. Well, trust me, Larry Bird would have never said God disguised as LeBron James because look.
They still whooped him, though.
Look at the epic failures here. Do you remember 2010? The last go-round of the first stint in Cleveland, it's against the Celtics in the playoffs. It's the conference semifinals. They win big by 22. He's 14 of 22 from the floor. It's game 3. Then we get to 4, 5, and 6, and right on schedule, he just crumbles to the point.
You talking about the big 3 Celtics? Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce? And Rajon Rondo? That's the Celtics we're talking about?
That he had somebody from his inner circle tell Stephen A. Smith at ESPN, because I was there alongside Stephen A. at that point, that LeBron had to be sedated before games 4, 5, and 6 because he was having some locker room issue with a teammate, Delonte West. Listen, Michael Jordan never had any issues with locker room teammates because they wouldn't dare to have an issue with Michael Jordan.
What that got to do with the GOAT debate? Thank y'all for putting them flags up. Get him out. Get this out of here.
The point was he had to be sedated.
Get that out of here.
What a wimp. What a weenie.
What are we doing, Skip? Lord have mercy.
And Dan Gilbert, his owner, a few weeks later.
He couldn't wait to get to this topic, bro. Oh my gosh, Skip. What?
Accused LeBron of quitting in those finals. And then do you remember the first go around with the Heat, the 2011 finals? Do you remember the chosen one became the frozen one? I've never seen like
all right, get him out. Get him. All right, Skip.
Starting 1-9, people were scared to death. Nice try.
Yeah. It wasn't no nice try. This is what I mean, right? Supposed to be arguing that. So it says Michael Jordan is the GOAT and laughably better than LeBron James. First of all, you disrespecting LeBron when you say laughably better than LeBron James. That's disrespect. But you say about 2 or 3 points for Michael Jordan and then just demolish LeBron James. You just say everything bad. Like come on, bro. You said 2 good things about LeBron. He a good passer. He a good driver of the ball. And then you say, well, he a good driver of the ball, but he can't shoot. Like, so that's a backhanded compliment. Come on, Skip, bro. I know you made a full career off this, but bro, this is why you're here now. Instead of on TV talking, because it's like it got old. Come on, y'all. Let me get somebody in here to go back and forth with this man. Oh, okay.
Hey, good job.
All right.
You got some quicks, man. I'm impressed.
Because I'm ready to come get you.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna start here with you. You want to discredit talking about 1-9 in the playoffs, and then not even talk about the fact that he couldn't even get to the finals in his first 6-7 seasons, right? So you prefer somebody not even making it to the finals? That's crazy.
Okay,
You want to
think of
discount
what
it?
he had in the way. He had two of the greatest teams ever in the way, and he didn't even have a Robin yet. He was going solo. He didn't have a Scottie
And
Pippen
LeBron did.
yet.
LeBron did first couple years.
Okay, I'll
LeBron
give you
did.
that. I haven't
And he
even
made it to the
brought up-
finals. He made it to the finals with
Okay,
a
and-
less roster than Jordan did.
And they got swept
Right.
by the Spurs, and I didn't even bring that up because I give you that one.
So we
I'm not.
You didn't bring it up because it's a point for them. That's why you didn't bring it up. What?
gonna hold that
So
against
you want to
LeBron.
hold somebody accountable for going to the finals and losing than not going to the finals at all.
Okay.
Right? More money to the city, so many more things accomplished, less players on the team, right? Then his other final losses, right? You could even talk about the fact that when he went up against the Warriors, he didn't even have a running mate with him either, right? So every time you want to protect
but-
Jordan, I knew you were going to
real
go with
quick.
6-0.
Okay, so he goes up against the Warriors.
Okay.
And I always give him this. Those first three games, you remember, because he doesn't have Kevin Love, he was gone already, right? Kyrie fractures his kneecap in overtime of game one at Oracle. Remember this? LeBron put up the greatest numbers of his career for 3 straight games. And I'm like, you got this team, because they weren't the Warriors yet. They obviously didn't have KD yet.
All
and
right,
they
here
weren't
we go.
sure who they were. So they're down 2-1, and game 4 is in LeBron's house in Cleveland.
Okay.
And in game 4, he was horrible. He goes 7 of 22. He was 5 of 10 from the free throw line. And I'm like, the next day, I'm telling Stephen A. on ESPN, he had a chance to step on their throats. It was, remember, the Iguodala game where Steve Kerr said, I'm going to switch. I'm going to start Iguodala, and I'm going to put him on LeBron. And LeBron just shrank. He closed up. He had them. If he had stepped on their throats and they'd gone up 3-1 in this is the 2015 finals, the first one against the Warriors. You got me. That you could make a go case. But instead, he shrinks and disappears in games. Here we go again. 4, 5, and 6 right on schedule. And they lose in 6 games. So he couldn't close.
So you're discrediting LeBron because he couldn't do it by himself, when you clearly just said that Jordan didn't have a running mate. But here comes LeBron James not having a running mate. Then all of a sudden, you're discrediting him.
Those deals.
Come on, bro.
All the great clutch shots that Jordan made, they closed deals. LeBron's made a few
He had a running mate. LeBron didn't.
clutch shots, but they never
LeBron running mate was Matthew Dellavedova.
mattered. They were never meaningful. They
Come
never
on.
ended series or games or championships.
No, you see, that's where you're trying to pick and choose, right? You want to talk
No.
about clutch games,
Get 'em.
but then you don't want to talk about how he's dragged so many teams to the finals, right? And
Did
he's
he
the one
drag
who's,
the
and
Heat
he's
to
the
the
one
finals?
and he's the one hitting the game-winning shots, right? The same way he took Toronto out, right? The amount of times he did that countless times, you don't want to talk about that. Though.
Well, I will.
You want to only
No, you won't. You don't ever do it. You don't ever want to talk. You don't bring up points for the other people. And we know this. You literally just said that.
talk about when Jordan does it in the finals as if Jordan's career was only 6 years. He's 6
Okay.
on the finals, but his career isn't 6 years.
No.
He had 6 to 7 years before that,
Yeah.
and then he had another 2 years in the Washington Wizards at 40 years old. We don't want to talk about LeBron at 40 now.
Okay, I
They,
don't.
they literally tried to
were
drag
like-
him out the court.
they were-
Gilbert Arenas talked about how they literally was ready to hand him the keys and get Jordan out of there by 40.
They
Oh
were
my
He's a
gosh.
cancer.
ceremonial years. He wasn't a cancer.
Yeah, he
he
was
was
a cancer.
running the show. He was going to be the GM and the head coach
they're
and
horrible.
the fading superstar.
So,
he averaged.
those years don't count then. That's
Okay,
the way it sounds like
the
to me.
last 2 years I don't count.
Of course.
It's crazy.
Okay,
So,
he-
but
he
then you
took-
want to
wait,
count
wait, wait,
everything
wait,
about
wait, wait.
LeBron. You want to count everything about LeBron, but then
Okay.
take some years out.
Just like a Jordan fan. Listen to this again.
He
So
averaged-
those years don't count then. That's
Okay,
the way it sounds like
the
to me.
last 2 years I don't count.
That's crazy.
Okay,
But then you want to count everything about LeBron. You want to count everything about LeBron, but then take some years out.
He took 3 years off. He retired because they ran his coach out the back door in Chicago, and he said, I'm out. Well, it was on pride and principle. He just said, I'm out. I'm not going to play anymore. And he came back because he was...
Greatness means keep playing year in and year out. Every year, LeBron keeps extending his career because the love of the game, and that matters, right? His heart is still in it, and he's going even towards 40.
Jordan won 10 scoring titles to LeBron's 1 scoring title. Jordan was the defensive player of the year in 1989. He's the defensive player. LeBron was never defensive player. 9 times Jordan was first team all defense. I'll give you 5 times early in his career, LeBron was first team all defense.
Could you not argue that LeBron should have got way more MVPs? Because he was always the best player all those years, but they don't count.
He got you that skill.
Okay, so now we're going to take away accolades from him.
You don't think Jordan was the best player for 11 straight years in Chicago?
No,
he was. It was just ridiculous how much better he was.
I'm not arguing that.
Okay. All right. So let's look at LeBron's buzzer beaters, okay? Because I know him by heart.
And he has more buzzer beaters than Jordan.
No, he doesn't. It's not. 9-8 Jordan. It's 9-8. I'm not cherry picking. I'm not semantics. I'm just telling you the truth. It's 9-8 Jordan, and I'm giving the 8th that thing the other night.
I'm sorry. Wait, you only talking about the playoffs? 9-8.
No, I'm doing total regular season of playoffs. The other night,
please fact check.
LeBron had a little tip in at the buzzer. Do you remember this? On Luka's missed shot, and LeBron's just right at the rim and just tips it over the rim, and you have to count that as a buzzer beater. And it was the weakest, easiest buzzer beater in the history.
Lord have mercy, Skip.
History of buzzer beaters. Okay, all right.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so here are your. I'm going to get to Jordan's.
Oh my gosh, Skip.
But I'm watching every game LeBron plays, and it took him 477 NBA games before he finally hit a walk-off shot, and it was on Ronnie Turioff. It was at Golden State. This is probably way before your time because this was January 23rd of 2009. It was a regular season game, okay? And he hit it, and I'm like, way to go. I stood up and gave him a standing ovation. And then he hit the shot heard round the world against Orlando in Game 2 at Cleveland.
Okay.
You remember this? In the year that they ended up losing to the Magic.
True.
Okay.
But the game is more than just game-winning shots. You know that, right?
No,
right now
I know
you're going
that,
down a rabbit hole. If you want to talk about like,
yeah, see, this is what I hate about some debaters. They want to back you into a corner and go one specific thing, but then if this guy finds something to put him in the corner, then he just gonna try to move the goalpost and change it to someone else. Like
clutch shots, end of game. But there's 47 minutes before that you got to play.
That.
Which
but
LeBron
here's the point. LeBron was born without a clutch gene. It's as simple as that. He just was. Jordan is the greatest clutch shooter I ever saw, and LeBron can be the weakest mentally superstar I've ever witnessed because he's afraid of the late game.
Okay. Why did Jordan retire the first time? And then why did Jordan retire the second time? I understand that you want to call somebody mentally weak, but isn't retiring early and him saying that his heart wasn't in it? I think that's what he said the first time he retired. Then the second time he retired, because they fired somebody and all of that stuff, isn't that a part of like being mentally in it? I'm just asking. Because Jordan is he is definitely one of the greats. I don't like putting who better than who because that conversation will never end. Jordan fans have built it like this, and LeBron fans have built it like that. Put them in their own separate rooms at the top. 1A, 1B, and 1C is Kobe. Put them in their own. I ain't ranking nobody. But when you get to say like somebody's mentally weak and all of this stuff, bro, like there's examples of everybody being mentally weak at some point. Just saying.
Free throw line. And in late and close situations, since LeBron came into the league, he's the worst by far.
Why is basketball so much about the last 30 seconds when there's 47 minutes and 30 seconds in the game?
You're trying to make a GOAT
so
case.
GOAT case, exactly.
Okay. And you're trying to make it over Michael Jordan?
Exactly.
You did a good job. You did a good job. Way to go.
Good job. Go back and forth with him, bro. Uh-oh. Get there.
You're going to need that cross
Yes.
around your neck.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I will. I don't think LeBron's the GOAT. I don't
Okay.
think Michael Jordan's the GOAT either.
Okay.
Oh, so we're going a different direction.
I think we're going to go in the direction of Stephen Curry. And I'm going to point out.
There's actually some fans out there that do believe that Steph Curry GOAT. But boy, if you don't say nothing that makes sense,
Now, your simple statement in one word.
Steph Curry?
You said laughably.
Okay.
And to me, that's bigger than Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. You are simply hitting and taking a hit, a personal shot at the entire game of basketball that we are watching today. And to me, you bring up competition. I think seeing Steph Curry and LeBron James and have go head to head in their rivalry, LeBron always posts on Instagram, he says, iron sharpens iron. Where was the iron sharpening iron with Michael Jordan when he was winning all of his championships? I understand that 6-0 is something that is perfect. You really can't debate it. But what you can do is say, all right, it was a beautiful thing. We're going to leave it in the past because there is greatness in front of our eyes, and it's LeBron James and it's Stephen Curry.
Okay.
And then we get into LeBron versus Steph, and I'm going to sit here and say, Steph Curry, if he wins a 5th championship, which he will, which is why I'm saying Steph's the GOAT, if he wins that 5th title, he is the greatest of all time.
okay. So your GOAT is really contingent on Steph winning number 5. So he ain't won 5 yet, but you're saying that he's gonna get it. So this is why he's the GOAT. No. We talk about right now, my brother. You can't do that. And that actually means that you do have LeBron over Michael Jordan, because you're saying if he wins number 5, he'll have more than LeBron, which will put him over LeBron, which will make him the GOAT, which means you do have LeBron over Michael Jordan.
Okay. Do you realize that Steph Curry and company had a 3-1 lead on LeBron without there's no Kevin Durant involved here, right? It's just Steph. So it's, I think you would
Is Skip about to give LeBron some, wait a minute.
agree that was Steph's team, right?
It was a
there's
tough
Clay and there's
performance.
Draymond, and we get all that, but it's Steph Curry or bust to me.
Game 5.
Because okay,
Draymond Green.
You've got he's gone. So you don't
Why?
have
Because LeBron made him gone.
If Steph is the GOAT, he's got 2 out of 3 at home to close the deal. All he's got to do is win 1 of 3, and 2 out of the 3 are at Oracle.
Yep.
And he can't pull it off because he's not that guy. He's not the GOAT. And what happened in Game 7 at Oracle? Remember LeBron's chase down block? Remember this?
Get it out.
My heart sank.
Kyrie hits the game-winning shot. In the 4th quarter of that game, Steph Curry went 1 of 6, and he went 1 of 4 from 3. Well, I'm sorry, 1 of 5 from 3, and he had a terrible turnover with 2 minutes left where he tried to throw it behind his back.
Behind his
threw it in
back.
the 5th row, and it was a key turning point in that game. And without Steph disappearing in the 4th quarter, LeBron and Kyrie cannot do what they ended up doing. And after they blew the 3-1 lead, what happened on July the 4th that summer? Steph Curry led a contingent in a private plane, and they fly all the way across the country out to the tip of Long Island to visit Kevin Durant. And Steph Curry got down on one knee and said, "You got to come save us. You, Kevin Durant, have to come save us because we can't beat LeBron James without you."
I understand.
Okay?
I understand that.
So you're disqualified as the GOAT. If you have to go beg
You're
somebody
not
to come save
disqualified
you.
because LeBron James, everyone here is talking about LeBron as the GOAT, and he did a very similar thing. When you
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. LeBron did not. LeBron did not go and get nobody to come over here to do this because he couldn't beat nobody. Nope, that ain't how it went. There is a difference between creating a super team and joining up for a super team. KD went to a team that was 73-9. Miami Heat ain't won nothing in a few years. The last time they won at that point was 2006. So when he went to the Heat, they was missing playoffs and all of that and getting bounced in the first round when LeBron pulled up. Let's not do. They ain't do the same thing, bruh. Let's not do that.
Look at Steph Curry and his greatness. I get that he choked in that moment. The 3-1 lead, you're never going to be able to beat that. But what he did in 22 against the Celtics and what he's doing now,
good.
You love Tom Brady. His best years are ahead of him, and I'm predicting that right now. Okay. Yes, 1,000%.
Well,
I think.
So your GOAT debate for Steph Curry is for what he gonna do in the future. That's crazy.
The next 5 years of Stephen Curry are going.
Victor Wembanyama gonna be the GOAT because he gonna win 7 championships in the future. Yep, I said it. See how that works? Like you saying Steph Curry gonna be the GOAT. That's what you just said.
To be his best 5 years.
We don't know that. I'll bet
Put the flag
that
up. Get him out there.
37 years of age.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Interesting. Way to go.
This man says Steph. He just cut them all
How are
off.
you, sir?
Man.
He is huge.
Good to see you.
Dodger fan.
Right now, I got to school you on this. LeBron is the GOAT. He is the GOAT. I know MJ is 6-0. We're kind of just like mystified with that. But LeBron's longevity for 22 years, the work that he's done.
Okay, good angle.
Okay.
And he's been in the shadow of MJ for 22 years. He hasn't been, MJ, who did he look up to? He was with Magic, Magic, that smiling face. Love Magic, but he wasn't as intimidating as being in Jordan's shadow for
Agreed.
22 years of his career.
All right.
I know the 4-6 in the finals, but man, 10 NBA Finals appearances. And just one more thing. I know we've talked about this. 2021, finals. The finals was the Nets versus the Bucks. 2018, it was Rockets Warriors. Jordan had to deal with that in the East. Oh, he wasn't pushed to a Game 7. He got pushed to a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference semifinals in 92. He got pushed to a Game 7 in 98 in the Eastern Conference finals. He's been pushed before. He still triumphs. Jordan, that 6-0. We're always going to be mystified from that. All around.
Okay.
It's LeBron.
I'm going to give you your first point. LeBron James is the longevity king. I mean, it's unquestioned. He is the most durable superstar.
Why do we look at longevity as a mark, like as a mark for like being the negative points for you? Like, why is longevity negative points? I need somebody to answer that. Why is longevity negative points for somebody? How is that? I guarantee you ask any NBA player, any NFL player, that they wish that they could have played longer at a high level. I'm pretty sure all of them would think that. Yeah, I wish I could play at 20 years in the NBA because of the love of the game, but not just play 20 years. Be efficient for 20 years. Have high numbers for 20 years. They wish they could do that. LeBron come through and do it, and it's like, oh, longevity. It's a wrap. Longevity. That's it. They don't care about none of the longevity. Nah, it don't count because he played longer than everybody. Like, what is we talking about? Like, why is that a mark? Like, why is that a mark of negativity on like negative points for somebody? Like, come on, man.
Watching a
why
game
is
the
that?
other night, and he hooks his thumb on the rim and pulls it, and I thought, oh God, because that's your shooting hand. And I thought, man, are you gone? Nope. They go tape it up, and he goes right back in. Incredible, blessed durability. That's how you play 22 years at age 40. LeBron has now played in the regular season 60,000 minutes to Jordan's 40,000 minutes. So it's an apple and an orange almost. And if we go total, it's 71,000. If I add the playoff minutes in, 71,000 to 48,000. Aha, that's 23,000. That's a magic number that LeBron tried to steal from Jordan. And he shouldn't have, because LeBron wished a lot of this on himself. He right away declared himself, I got next. I'm the next Jordan.
How many times during LeBron's 22 illustrious career, how many times did he take a break? I know Jordan's done that a few times.
He got one break before they won their last championship in the bubble, the Mickey Mouse Championship.
Oh my God! Okay,
he got one. He got like a 4-month break ahead of that, and it served him well because
not
I don't
18
think he's
months.
going to
He
win
didn't play
another
minor league. He didn't go in the minor leagues. He didn't go try to go be an owner of the league. He's gone 22 straight years
He
playing
has
in the NBA.
longevity
So
king.
many
That
playoff
doesn't make
wins.
you the GOAT. That makes you
10
the longevity
NBA
king.
Finals appearances.
Okay.
MJ couldn't get to 10. He couldn't get past the Pistons, just like LeBron couldn't
I mean,
get
he
past the
did
Warriors.
get past the Pistons finally.
After
and
3
there
years.
was a book written about it called The Jordan Rules,
it was
in
a
which
butt-whooping.
it detailed the rules with which the Detroit Pistons, the bad boys, had to stop Michael Jordan.
And thankfully,
they
he
were
got
scared
Scotty.
to death of him.
Thankfully, he got Scotty during that time because, and he also had a head coach, Phil Jackson, during that time. Once they figured that out. But who did LeBron have as a head coach during that time? Mike Brown. Mike Brown is no Phil Jackson.
Nope,
He had Antoine Jameson. He had Ilgauskas. That's why he had to go to Miami. He had to go over there and team up. He learned how to win. And when
Eric Spoelstra is a real live coach. But like I would bank on Eric Spoelstra. And remember, Pat Riley was coaching the coach in that situation. So that was optimum. That was ideal. And LeBron needed a big brother to teach him how to win. And Dwayne Wade was that guy.
Okay.
All right. Good job.
You're the man.
Way to go. Thank you.
All right, come on, y'all.
I think my biggest gripe with your argument is the word laughably. I think your top 10 NBA players of all time is well documented. You've got people like Larry Bird in there.
I do.
You've got Shaq in there.
I do.
Did you know those two guys, within the last 3 to 5 years, have deferred to LeBron and called LeBron the GOAT?
I'm not sure Larry Bird has, but Shaq on TV will
verbatim.
say that.
Verbatim. Larry Bird said, LeBron is one of, if not the greatest ever. Okay. I think at number 7.
I do. 9, actually.
9.
Just real quick, I got obviously Jordan, Magic, Shaq, Kareem, Tim Duncan, Bill Russell, Kobe 7, Bird 8, and LeBron 9.
Yep.
Because
it's even worse than I thought. Skip got LeBron at number 9? Oh my gosh.
Because I'm taking Kobe and Larry Bird as clutch players.
Wait.
Magic, Shaq.
LeBron is one of, if not the greatest ever.
Okay.
You have him at, I think, at number 7.
I do. 9, actually.
9.
Just real quick, I got obviously Jordan, Magic, Shaq, Kareem, Tim Duncan, Bill Russell, Kobe 7, Bird 8, and LeBron 9.
Yep.
Because I'm taking Kobe and Larry Bird as clutch players over.
That's
LeBron
crazy,
James
Skip. It's worse than I thought.
So if you look this up, Shaq also said that LeBron is the greatest ever. So with that being said, if Shaq is deferred to LeBron and said he's the greatest ever, that would at least make him 3. He deferred to that. He gave him 3. So the word laughably is really crazy to me, because also you've called LeBron weak. You called him
Mentally
soft, mentally soft. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to play in the NBA for 22 years. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to be, called the king at age 13, 14, and live up to all those expectations without a hiccup off the court, without being, in the news for a negative reason. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to do that.
I give you all that. We're just talking about your performance on the court.
Sure. He has the
and
most points ever.
This is what really kills me about what I call you LeBron supporters. You're fanatic about it. You're blind witness, because you're blind to what happens. You expunge his record. You scrub his record. You don't want to hear all the negatives. And
kind of like you, right?
They just pile up. I call them epic fails, and I've given a couple so far, and I'm going to give a few more. If we can go back to that fateful Game 6 of the 2013 finals, I don't know if it's before your time, but I'm sure you were watching. It's at Miami, and the Spurs have a chance to close it out in 6 games, and they're up 5 points with 18 seconds left. And I was a Spurs fan at this point, and it was unheard of to blow a lead, especially in a game of that magnitude that way. Down the stretch of that game, even in the final minute, with 40 seconds left and 20 seconds left. This is Game 6 closeout potential. LeBron had 2 unforced error turnovers that were horrendous. Even I'm not a LeBron fan, but I sat back and I said, "What are you doing, man?" He's unraveling. He made 1 3, but then he had to take a 3 to tie the game with 6 seconds left.
See how he just ran over that? He made a 3, but no. Because we ain't going to talk about how many points LeBron had in that fourth quarter alone. That's not that. It don't fit his narrative.
And he, as I say, LeBricked
which would be a clutch shot.
Okay, it would be, but he LeBricked it. He bounded it.
One thing about the epic failures.
Yeah.
Would you call Jordan getting swept in the first round 3 times an epic failure?
Nope, because they weren't epic, because they weren't magnitude games, because these are in the finals. I'm going to the finals. So it took Ray Allen making the greatest clutch shot I have ever witnessed. Because remember, it's a LeBrick, and it's a long rebound out, and it's Chris Bosh goes out and tracks it down and kicks it in the corner.
To call someone LeBrick while having the most points ever is wild. Now, I know you're a Jordan guy. It pained me to say that Jordan's been swept 3 times in the first round, because I'm a Jordan guy too. But to laughably say that LeBron and Jordan aren't even in the same conversation, that's wild. It's a discredit to basketball.
I know you watched this.
Insane.
How about the Western Conference Finals just 2 years ago against Denver, okay? So the Lakers wind up getting swept, but 4 straight times they go to the fourth quarter right there. It's a win.
And this is another part. See how he didn't want to talk about when Jordan was older? LeBron's older in this scenario that he's talking about, and you still have to hold him to a standard like he 27, 28. It's crazy.
Winnable game for LeBron and company. First 2 are in Denver, second 2 at home. If you combine his shooting stats for the 4 fourth quarters, he's 7 of 23. That's horrible. That's how you lose games. And he was 1 of 10 from 3 in those 4 combined fourth quarters. And in the closeout game at, as I call it, the crypt here in Los Angeles, in the final seconds of the game, LeBron gets 2 shots to tie the game, 2 two-point shots, and neither of them he gets up to the rim. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? You're better than that. And yet the blind witnesses say, oh, we didn't see that. We don't want to hear about that. So we fast forward 1 more year, because last year in the playoffs, they get Denver again, but this time it's in the first round. And games 1 and 2 at Denver, LeBron pouts in the fourth quarter because he can be a mentally weak diva, and he
wow,
won't shoot
Skip,
in the fourth quarter.
Jesus Christ!
Game. I'm going, what are you doing, man? Just take over. You can do this. You can rise above Joker and Jamal. Because you think he's the GOAT. The GOAT rises above because the game is begging to be won by LeBron James, and he won't shoot until there are 3 minutes left and the game's out of control. Game 2. He's got Jamal on him, and he makes a sweet move. It's Jordan-esque on Brian Russell in Game 6 at Utah. And we've got LeBron James. This is Game 2 just last year in the playoffs at Denver. It's going to change the series. He gets a wide-open shot from 3. It's like a free throw from 3. And he LeBricks it. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? Because Kobe's going to make that shot. Jordan's obviously going to make that shot.
Stop. Jordan was a bad 3-point shooter. We just gotta just run with it, bro. Jordan wasn't even a good 3-point shooter. Now all of a sudden he would have hit that shot. Would he? Come on, Skip, bro. Come on, bro.
I think Shaq could have made that shot. It was.
What are we doing here?
Seriously. But
so what do you have to say about Shaq deferring to LeBron? He said it.
PR.
He said it.
It's
Why
PR.
would he say that though? Why does a killer say that?
It's got to be the last person. It's like 3 minutes.
Ooh, I got it.
You've been chomping to get up here.
Yeah, I've been ready for this. All right, but first I gotta say this. It could be SGA. It could be SDA. You can call it CIA. Lakers in 5. Okay? Just gotta get out the way.
He just felt like saying that.
Lakers in 5 to do what?
To win the finals, win everything.
To win this year's finals?
Your friend, Shannon Sharp. Yeah. But anyways, let's get back to the prompt.
For him to say your friend Shannon Sharp, that's crazy. He said your friend Shannon Sharp. Skip, what you gonna say about that? We know how that ended.
Facts, numbers.
So do I.
That's something you can't lie about. Facts. Okay. I like to say that LeBron is the greatest player of all time because of several reasons. He's the only player to be in the 30-point club, 10K club for assists and rebounds. He's the only player to be positioned in as a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center at the same time. Okay? You have to debate that, Michael Jordan or LeBron James is the GOAT in longevity. He's the GOAT just entirely because of what he's able to accomplish. What he's doing at age 40, he's breaking people's ankles. He's dunking on people at age 40. I agree
with you. I've never seen anything like this guy at 40.
And he's averaging as much points as he did in 2013 as the MVP. He averaged 27, 7 and 7. He's averaging 25, 8 and 8 as a 40-year-old.
He's actually shooting the ball better than he has in 22 years, both from the free throw line and the 3-point line combined. His shooting stats are the best ever. they don't rank highly this year in the NBA. But again, he's all the way up to 77% from the free throw line and 38% from the 3-point line. What took him so long? I'm like, what have you been doing? I thought you were in the lab. This is year 22, and it took you this long to become an average free throw shooter, an average. Okay.
What he's doing at 22,
facts.
yeah, I'm doing stats and facts. You can take the last, like, say 40-year-old players that played in the NBA, that played at least 40 games, all right? You can take Manu Ginobili, Dirk Nowitzki, Vince Carter, Jason
You
Terry.
got me.
You can take all their retired numbers, put them together, and they won't average what LeBron's averaging right now.
Does that make him the GOAT? Longevity GOAT?
Well, it's part of it. I think it's a part of it. And you went to the fact that Jordan is the most clutch player.
Okay, it's not longevity, bro. It's consistency, bro. It's not longevity. It's consistency, bro. It's consistency, bro. You're averaging 25 plus 22 years. I'm pretty sure when he was a rookie, maybe he was just dropping 20. But eventually he got up to 25. 25 plus for 22 years. It's not longevity, bro. It's consistency. And doesn't that count for something, bro? Come on, man.
Ever. LeBron is actually more clutch than Jordan was. There's a website called Fadeaway World. You can look it up. The criteria for clutch is anything in the last minute.
That's not what my stats say or scream.
Well, I'm telling you what I found.
Okay.
So I found that they said that clutch means the last minute of a fourth quarter or overtime game with at least 20 field goals attempted. LeBron James is 4th overall, hitting 54 shots. Jordan is 27th, hitting 9 of the shots out of 31.
All right, let me just remind you.
Okay.
When Jordan made clutch shots, they really, really mattered. They endured. They were historic clutch shots because he first introduced himself as a freshman at North Carolina in the 1982.
That boy went to college. Get Skip out of here, bro. Get Skip out of here, bro. Let me out of here, bro. I'm taking the green screen down, bro. This man don't move to college basketball, bro.
The college, the NCAA championship game.
We talking about.
He makes the walk-off shot, a jump shot, and Dean Smith called his number, not James Worthy's number, not Sam Perkins' number. He called Michael Jordan's number as a freshman. He was called Mike Jordan at that point. And then, remember, he introduced himself to the NBA world against Craig Elo in Cleveland. Game 5, this is the closeout game. This is for all the marbles, and he hits a hanging walk-off shot jumper over Craig Elo, and it became iconic. We all see it. You can just call it up on YouTube right now and look at the highlight and look at his celebration. It won the series, okay, his first playoff series. And then, obviously, I was there on press row, courtside, Game 6 at Utah. Little subtle push off Brian Russell against the Jazz, and he hangs and holds the pose just beyond the free throw line and rips it, and it's a walk-off. Stockton got some heave at the buzzer, but it was a walk-off. It won the championship. It won Game 6. It closed them out. All of his shots had magnitude. Jordan, but then I look at LeBron, and all of his walk-offs, and I'm giving him that little tip in the other day. Okay,
Still a buzzer beater.
Skip, this is bad. It's okay to big up both people, but you just choosing Jordan. The way that he do it is we big up Jordan and then slide what LeBron James doing up under the rug, bro. That's crazy.
Let's call it 7 walk-off shots. They didn't matter. They didn't get you anywhere. There are 3 in the playoffs, and they're pretty good. But what do they say about the blind squirrel? He finds an acorn every once in a while. If you're going to play 71,000 minutes, you're going to hit a few walk-offs here and there when you play that much longer than Michael Jordan.
Get him out of here, bro.
Way to go. Good job.
Hey, man. We gonna stop the stream right here. I gotta.
My next claim is
What is this?
Patrick Mahomes is dramatically overrated.
Oh my God. Okay. A man with 3 rings is overrated. But hey, listen, we're gonna get back to this at another time. But I gotta get up out of here. Let me go in here with my wife. Peace, love, and hair grease. I'm out.